Right, okay, so this is just a little tutorial to go over doing something a little bit different. So looking at how we can combine a few images together to create a final image, and also how we can import a brush set into our Photoshop files as well. So we've got three items that we're going to use for these will either be on Moodle or they'll be on your email. At the time of recording I haven't decided what one to do yet, so just keep an eye out for where they might be. Once you've used these, you can then apply these skills to anything. You can apply it to anything that you want to combine as we go on. So we'll have a look at that as we move forward. What you'll need to do is, to begin with, oh, there we go. We've got a little preview of what it's going to look like at the end of it. So we're looking at kind of creating this Christmassy image and reproducing this effect. So we're putting the crescent moon in, we're putting the star effect in there, and kind of just changing the overall feel of the image. You'll need a few things to begin with. You'll need to open up a new file, make it 500 by 500, make sure it's on pixels, sorry. 500 by 500 pixels. Just change the resolution to 150, just so that we keep a bit of a detail in our image, and then everything else you can leave. It doesn't matter what colour the background is as you bring it in, because we're going to change that anyway. So when you open it up, it will look like that. Not very exciting to begin with. You'll also need the clouds image that I've given you, and the fairy image. Now with this, you can see that I've got my marching ants going around already. What you'll need to do is you'll need to do similar. So I just went through and with the quick mask tool, remember, went through and brushed around my figure, so I got my selection. However you get your selection is down to you. We've done it a number of different ways now. Quick mask being one of them. We've also got the lasso tools up here, and the polygonal one as well. However you want to get your selection, but you'll need to have her selected so that you can take her out of the background. Alright, so where to begin? Once you've done your selection, make sure that you try and get in as close as you can around her so that you get a good cutout that you can take across. You'll want to make sure that you can then start combining everything together. Okay, so nice and easy. Click on our clouds to begin with. Make sure you're on Move tool. Just pick up your image, just click and hold, and then just drag it to your tab of your new image and just drop it in. It doesn't really matter kind of what clouds we've got, but depending on what image you can find, you can adjust it as you see fit. Okay. Once you've got that, you'll need to go back. You'll need to get your selection of your figure as well. Same difference. Click on the Move tool. Just grab hold of her and go in and drop her on top of your thing. Now, mine has come in ridiculously large. You will need to just make sure that you get it down to the right size that you need to. So I'm just going to move stuff on the corner. There we go. Alright, remember it's a figure, it's a person, so you mustn't stretch it. Okay, so as you put in from the corners, just hold down Shift as you go, and you'll be able to make sure that you get the right proportions. Sorry, that wasn't a glitch, that's just me having to do something. So you want to get her roughly right, not too big, not too small, about that. At this stage where they're on separate layers, if you can see, I'm not going to do it on mine, but if you can see that you've got different parts that are just showing through, you can see the red there of the background, the original background. You can go through and you can get your rubber tool and you can refine your selection a little bit, because it's easier to do it now than it will be later. I'm not going to worry about it too much on this one. You'll be able to spend a bit more time on it as you go through. Alright, what we want to do first is on new layer, so down here, new layer, we're going to make our moon. I'm on the wrong brush to begin with. So I think when I did it, it was around 200, so you need to change your pixel size up, and there's no right or wrong size really, but you just need to make sure that you've kind of got a white selection on there that you can do, and then all you need to do is get the rubber tool and then make your brush slightly smaller, and then just delete that bit out so you get a moon feel that's a bit small for me. Let me try that again. Until you're kind of happy with it. I'm being a bit finicky, to be honest. There we go, that's a bit better. Alright, now we can't see it tremendously well at the moment because we're on a bit of blue sky, so I'm just going to move my layer around a bit so that we've got a bit more definition. Okay, and then we can see it. We'll pick that up a little bit more as we go along. Alright, so we start getting the idea of our setup and where everything's going to go. Alright, don't worry too much that she looks like she's sitting in the middle there. We'll sort that out later. If you remember from when we looked at the original one, you'll probably see it. I can't remember if I've still got it open. Oh yeah, there you go. Alright, we're going to put another cloud effect across her feet, so don't worry that she's floating in the air at the moment. Alright, so far we've got our crescent moon in, we've got our figure in, and we've got the background that we're looking at. And now what we want to do is have a little look at getting a bit of a lighting feature on there. So on your clouds layer, select on layer 1. You want to go to filter and render, and in there you've got lighting effects. Okay, now yours may look slightly different to mine. I'm running CS6. I'll check this in the first time I'm in class with you, but it might look a little bit different. But I've got my lighting options over here, and then I've got some presets up here as well. Okay, what I want you to choose is somewhere along the line Soft Omni, which is what my one's on already, and I want you to stick it just kind of somewhere where we can start picking up the moon and giving the moon a bit of a glow. I'm going to put it in there because we don't want to put it right on there because then we lose the moon completely. So we just want to put it just kind of off center so that we get a bit of a glow and a bit of a we start getting a bit of an effect around the rest of the background, so that we've got a bit of more brightness on the moon itself, and a bit of lighting effects there. Okay, so once you're done, just click OK, and that will render that for you. It should do it quite quickly. So we're going to put some more lighting effects on it later on as well, as we go on. All right. What we do need to do is try and add a bit more of a glow effect to our moon. So at the moment it's a little bit, we've picked a brush up and we've smacked it on there. So what we need to do is try and play around with the moon. So if you select the moon layer, and then we're going to go up to layer and layer style, and we want to go to outer glow. Alright, so layer style and outer glow, then you'll get these options come up. And if you can move your kind of window so that you're able to see what you're doing, and what we're looking at is playing around with some of the options in here. Okay, so we can play around with different things, and you'll see that it changes as we go. Alright, so you can play around with your opacity and boost that up a little bit. I'm just going to change my colour. It's on yellow for some reason, not quite sure why. I'm just going to drop it to white. Okay, you've also got size of the element there. If you see it kind of starts going a bit crazy if we take it too far. So it's just trying to get a bit of an effect on there. And there's no right, again, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just playing around with it and seeing what works best on the image. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there so you can take a quick glance at the values that I've got on there. I haven't changed much, but you can just see that we've got a slightly different look to it now. If I click OK on that and then just show you my history, so that's without and that's with. So it's not a huge difference, but it will kind of give it a better effect overall as we move forward. Alright, so far we've combined our layers, we've done a bit of cutout work on our figurine. We've looked at using layer styles to play around with the moon itself, and then we've looked at also putting a little bit of a lighting effect on the layer as well, so that we can get a bit of a better idea of the overall feel of the image. Right, sorry, just looking at my notes and just working out what's the next bit to look at. I'm just wondering if we've made that a little bit too light. I'm just going to go back onto our layer here, onto our clouds layer. I think we need to make this a bit darker. So back to where we were, filter, render and lighten effects, and we'll pick up what we had before. I'm just going to change that from Omni. I know I said to use Omni before, but I think actually look at using something else. Not blue Omni. It's the wrong one, sorry. I was on soft Omni before. No, I think it was point light. I think my intensity's just kind of gone a bit crazy. So there we go. Okay, alright, yeah. Sorry, I was on the wrong light. So I changed that to point light, which was this one, sorry, a new point light. And I want it to just kind of sit off a little bit, so it's just a bit dark around the edges. Okay, I think I've added probably more than one light in there now. As you can see, I've got a few kind of in there at the moment, but it's just trying to get that effect so that we've got the glow of the moon and we've got it a little bit darker around this area. Alright, we're going to pick up the colours as we go along. Alright, you can have play around with that really and get the best effect that you want. I'll leave that there for now and we'll move on, otherwise we'll be there all day. Right, so what we need to do now is get the star effect onto her hands. So you'll need to import the brushes that I've given you. It's really simple to do. If you go in and open your brush panel, you'll see you've got your brush presets in there that you've got the ones that you'll be familiar with. And then what we want to do is go in, load brushes, and then wherever you saved this file, so mine's just gone straight to it, just select that and click open. I'm not going to do it because mine are already in there, but you would import that in, and you'd import it into this window here, and you'll see right down the bottom, they won't look like the stars, but if you just look closely here, you can see that I've got some of the stars effects on my one on there. Alright, so then it's just a case of playing around and getting kind of this effect of kind of fairy dust, if you like. and you can play around with the different brushes. They're coming in quite large as you use the presets, but some of them will have different effects, and you don't need to do it as white. You can do it as different colours. This one is the one that gives you your kind of really big star effects in there that you can kind of play around. You might have a couple of those that are kind of some bigger than others to pick out. Alright, so we'll leave that kind of there. It's not too bad. It's not the best dispersal of stars in the world, but you will be able to kind of have a play around with that a little bit more. Alright, now one thing that I've just done on there, which I've just realised, sorry, so hopefully I haven't done too much on there. We just need to backtrack that, sorry. Right, sorry, you would have seen a jump cut just there because I realised that I'd made a mistake. Apologies. What you need to do is when you're doing the brushwork, and you can see that it doesn't look much different to mine. I've kind of tried to match it. I've had to quickly go back and redo it all again because I didn't have enough space in my history to go back. But your brushes and your stars you need to have on a separate layer. So layer 4 now you can see is my brushes, so I can turn them on and off. Because what we want to do is we want to put the same glow effect that we've got on our moon on our stars as well, so that we get that crossover all the way through. And I'd forgotten to put it on a separate layer, so that was my fault. Sorry if that caused any problems. So what's quite nice is that you can go onto your layer there and right click onto layer 3, which is our moon, copy layer style, and then just right click on our new layer and paste layer style, and it won't work. That's a bit weird. Alright, don't do that. Don't know why that worked for me before, it didn't work for me this time. That's a bit strange. Let's go on and have a look. Same as before, sorry, layer style and outer glow, and then just have a quick tweak of the things. I'm not quite sure why it didn't like it before. It may have been that the size was too big. But you can see as you kind of play around with that, you can get slightly different effects from the glow as you're playing around with it. So it's really whatever effect you want. I'm going to go kind of somewhere in the middle and just pick it up there. Alright, so as you can see, we've got several layers happening now. So we've got layer 1, which is our clouds, layer 2, which is our layer 3 was our moon, and layer 4 was our stars and our brushes that we've done. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to play a little bit around with the levels and start kind of looking at the colours of the whole image. What we need to do before that is flatten our image. So we've got our separate layers at the moment. If we do Command and L, we'll get our levels come up. Sorry, before we do that, we need to flatten the image. Okay, layer and flatten image. Okay, and we'll see you just go to one layer now, as you would do if you kind of opened up an image from scratch. All right, now Command and L. Sorry. And if we just move this so we can see it. Now what you want to change is just the red channel. So go into the red channel and just select that. And what you'll see is you've got these kind of hilly effects as we go through. And these are the different levels of the colours that make up all of our image. So what we're going to play around with is the reds, obviously. And if we just stick 42 in there, you'll see that it gives us a completely kind of different effect. It's pushing the blue up within our image. Now I think actually when I did the lighting effects earlier, I've got that light wrong, but because we've got a bit of a strange thing there, but it's not the end of the world. But okay that, and you'll see hopefully the effect that it's got. We've got a much more kind of a bluish hue to our image. Now we're going to do something a bit weird now. We're going to go back to our cloud. So if you shut it, you'll need to open it again. And exactly as we did before, click on the Move tool, grab clouds, and stick it on top. Alright, so now you've got our work that we've done underneath, and we've got our cloud layer on top of there. And what you want to do is delete about 2/3 of it. So find your brush tool, find your eraser tool, sorry. Pick a brush that's got a soft edge, so one of these ones, so that we can be a little bit less with. And what you need to do is just kind of right about that section, and then just make sure that you kind of get rid of all the top. A little bit further maybe. That'll do us. That'll do us. Alright, so with this layer selected, we want to go back into level. So Command and L to get your levels come up. We're going to go back into the red channel, and this time instead of 42, we're just going to change that up slightly, and 65 in there, just to play around and put a little bit more depth into our image, so we've got darker and lighter, and it starts giving it a slightly different effect. Okay, so okay that. One shot done. And we want to flatten the layers again. So back into layers and flatten it, so we've just got the one. And then now we're going to play around with some lighting effects just on the whole of our image. So light, filter, render, and lighting effects. And we'll get this come up. And what we want to do this time is, I'm just going to, I've got lots of randoms in there, so I'm just going to take all these out. I'll just put the one Omni in there. Alright. And then I think what we'll do is we'll position this around our sparkles. Okay, so I chose a soft Omni preset in there so that I could see what was going on, and we're going to place it behind us. So we start getting kind of slightly darker areas around our figure and around the moon, and the focus is on kind of the sparkle effect that we've created up here. And now it's kind of playing around with our tools up here. So at the moment it's a bit too bright, so I'm going to drop that down a bit, maybe to about there. We'll start with that. What's that? So that's on 42 on our colour. Let's have a look on the metallic, and we can maybe play around with that a bit more. Let's have a look. Let's take that up to there. Now we're picking up a few more of the sparkles on there. So really now here it's just a case of kind of finding a nice effect. So we get the sparkles, but we light our image nicely as well. I'm going to go with that. So those are my values at the moment. I'll just leave those on screen for a second. So intensity is 43, exposure is -18. And you've got these colour options as well. You could go in and put different colour effects on there if you wanted to, and have a look at how that might work. Alright, so I'll click OK on that, and there we've got our image with a bit more pop, if you like. Within our image. I think one last little look at our levels as we go in. So if we go in and if we look at the red level to begin with, yeah, so we kind of, because we want this bluey effect on there, it gives a bit more kind of a mystical feel about it. We which looks quite nice as well. We're going to change something on our blue channel as well this time around to it. Just play a bit around a bit more. So let's just go to our blue. So you can see if I come to do something ridiculous, you'll see where it goes. We don't want to do anything that much. We just want to kind of ever so slightly just play around a bit. That will do us. All right, and there we go. So we've got our slightly festive kind of fantasy feel, if you like, to our Christmas scene. But you hopefully now get the idea of how you can combine and develop images using layers, using different effects, using different lighting effects, using different layer effects to go through. Alright, so have a go. Hopefully yours is coming out as well as mine. I'm quite pleased with that. So there you go. Alright.